we have looked in the previous video. Have you watched it? If not, you can go watch it afterwards. But we have told you the 3 characteristics that made small businesses, particularly good clients, actually to have good project management. That it's not just for big businesses, this project management stuff. And of course, in that I talked about, well, wasting money, wasting time, and that relatively general aspect of not having good project management in your small business. But in this video, I want to talk about 5 consequences of not managing projects well in your small business. And here it's more really consequences for the business, for the project, okay? And here it is really 5 things that will cost you and your business if it is what is happening in your business when you don't have good project management systems and tools in place to allow you to deliver your projects efficiently. So let's begin. First one is that you have unclear goals. What you want to do is vague. You don't really know what you want to do. And this is a big problem when I've asked people in surveys and other things like that, talking to people. Actually, defining clear goals for the project was the main challenge. That happens a lot of the time because if you don't have that mindset of defining very clearly your goals, well, you don't really know what you're doing. So how can you do it? So you can't do your project well if you actually don't know what you do. You just can't deliver. You confuse people around you. You waste time, energy. So without clear goals, you're not going to deliver good projects. Good projects have a very clear direction, a very clear goal. You know what you're doing, you know what you are not doing in your project. Something that will cost small businesses dearly if you don't manage your project well. That's the second point. And that the missed deadline. Okay? And so if you don't plan well, if you don't have a good timeline, things will drift. That's normal. You know, if you don't have a clear idea of when you will and when you can do things and do them when you say you would do them, you're in trouble in your project. Okay, it means that your project will just drift and drag on and on and on and on to maybe never be finished. Okay, so missed deadlines. And imagine, missed deadline. You want to launch a new product. You know that this new product will bring you new revenue, new money. And you launch it 6 months later than what you had planned, just because the planning actually wasn't there. Well, 6 months of customers, that's a lot of money, isn't it? Especially for a small business. So, not having a good plan and missed deadlines are really a killer for your projects. Then, the third cost of not having good project management in your small business, well, it's cost. And here I mean, well, it means that usually the budget of the project will just grow and grow and grow and grow up to the point where it is not sustainable. You're just putting way too much money in a project and it just comes to the point where it is just not worth it. So the third thing is these uncontrollable costs that are adding and adding and adding. And so of course, you know, it's constant surprising. And of course, it's also loss of energy, rushed decision. Usually when the budget is not there, or something you hadn't planned, and then suddenly, oh gosh, I need to buy this, I need that. And so suddenly, you've got to make these last minute decisions, last minute purchases. They cost more. So uncontrollable costs if you don't manage your project well. Then the fourth thing in not managing project well in your small business is that obviously most of the time you don't do your project just on your own. You have other people working on the project. Well, and if you don't manage the project well, let me tell you that these people will get extremely frustrated. As a former project manager, well, I've had a lot of experience, and I know that when the planning isn't good, people don't really know what they're doing, when they need to do it, with what, how. Well, they get very, very frustrated, or when they don't really know what they need to do. People get very, very frustrated. And that's the last thing you want, because your people are your business. So if you alienate them, wasting their energy, wasting their time, telling them to do things that at the end are worth nothing, well, they're not going to be happy about that. Okay, so that will hit morale, productivity in your business. You might see people beginning to leave if you leave them frustrated and you keep on not managing the projects well. And then the fifth aspect, which leads from that fourth aspect about people being frustrated, is that they're not just going to be frustrated, they're going to be really stressed. And some of them, including you, because you have the weight as a small business owner, if you're a small business owner watching this video, you have the weight of the project on your shoulders, okay? And that, of course, is a lot of stress that can lead also to burnout. And so it means that then it just has to stop. You cannot go through that. You have to stop and reset. Then if you have the right processes, the right system, the right tools in place that allow you to really get your goals very clear from the start, get your planning with realistic deadlines, realistic budget, realistic people and task allocation to these people, who is going to do what and when, then your people are much happier. They don't get frustrated because they know what is coming, and you too. Everyone is getting much less stress. You won't experience burnout in you or your people, and you won't need to then just completely stop because it goes completely pear-shaped. So, to wrap up, to summarize, if you don't manage your project well in your small business, you are facing basically unclear goals because you don't know how to clarify your goal, missed deadline because the planning is not done realistically, uncontrolled costs because the budgeting is not done realistically, frustrated teams because people don't really know what they need to do, when they need to do it, whether they have what they need to do it. And that will lead to stress and burnout in yourself and your people. To avoid that, keep on watching these videos on this YouTube channel. I will post videos very regularly. Or, well, leave a comment, leave an answer. We can have a chat and see. See you in the next video.